All right, so buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into some seriously wild predictions about America's future.
Predictions, prophecies, visions, oh my.
You know, the whole shebang.
And where are we getting these glimpses into the future, you might ask?
Well, we're taking a deep dive into a video, and it's got not one, not two, but three self-proclaimed prophets.
3.
You heard that right.
Okay, that's a lot of prophetic energy in one place.
That's what I thought, and they're all weighing in on what they see for America, especially when it comes to, you guessed it, the 2024 election.
Well, that's certainly a hot topic. You've got to give them credit for tackling the big issues.
No kidding. So we've got Brandon Biggs as our main prophet, you could say, and then Steve Chalcolanti and Amanda Grace kind of round out the crew.
But Biggs is the one with the really out there stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's got some real doozies. I mean, some of his claims are just mind-blowing.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so remember back in July when there was that incident at that Trump rally?
You mean the one where someone tried to,
Yeah, exactly. Well, Biggs actually predicted an assassination attempt on Trump during a campaign speech way back in March. I mean, he posted this video in March, and then boom, it practically happened.
Hold on, are you serious? He actually said that.
Straight up, in the video. He even describes a bullet whizzing past Trump's right ear, causing him to, like, fall to his knees and pray. And then, get this, Trump has this reborn moment and ends up winning the election.
Okay, now that is seriously creepy. I mean, the timing is just too much of a coincidence.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
It's giving me major chills just thinking about it. And it's not just the timing. Some of the specifics that Biggs mentions actually kind of lined up with what happened. It wasn't a perfect match, but still, it's enough to make you wonder,
I'm definitely wondering.
like, could this guy actually have some kind of, like, precognitive abilities? Or is this all just a giant fluke?
It's a question that has fascinated people for centuries. I mean, can someone actually see into the future? It's mind-boggling.
Well, let's break down what Biggs actually said in the video. So he talks about this bullet flying past Trump's right ear, injuring his eardrum. Now, in reality, the injury wasn't that specific, but still...
That's still pretty close for comfort.
Way too close. And of course, in Biggs's vision, this whole near-death experience leads Trump to this massive spiritual awakening, a rebirth, as he calls it, which then propels him to victory.
It's like a classic hero's journey, but with a presidential twist.
Seriously, it's like something out of a Hollywood movie. You've got the dramatic brush with death, the spiritual transformation, and the ultimate triumph.
Talk about high stakes.
Oh, and it gets even crazier because Biggs doesn't stop there. He goes on to predict a financial crisis that'll make the Great Depression look like a walk in the park.
Oh no, not another doomsday prophecy. Don't tell me the world is ending.
He doesn't exactly say the world is ending, but he paints a pretty bleak picture. He claims this massive financial meltdown will hit sometime between September 2024 and 2025. He even throws out a specific date to watch, October 24th.
Just to add to the suspense. Well, he's certainly got a flair for the dramatic. But seriously, a financial crisis on that scale, that would be devastating.
Yeah, no kidding. And it gets worse because he predicts that the U.S. dollar will lose its status as the world's reserve currency, leading to a complete collapse of the financial system as we know it.
Oh, wow. That's a bold claim. I mean, the dollar has been the dominant currency for so long.
Right. But Biggs is basically saying that it's all going to come crashing down. Poof, just like that.
I guess we'd better start stockpiling canned goods and learning how to barter.
I'm already ahead of you on that one.
Can you imagine, waking up one morning and your bank account's just wiped out, your investments are worthless?
It's like the ultimate financial hangover.
Seriously, it doesn't even bear thinking about.
Well, Biggs seems to think about it a lot because he spends a good chunk of this video outlining this whole financial apocalypse scenario.
Okay, but does he offer any, solutions, or is it just all doom and gloom?
Well, that's where things take a bit of a, shall we say, interesting turn. Well, after the whole financial collapse thing, Biggs predicts this, green era of spiritual awakening and human evolution.
Okay, so we're going from economic meltdown to spiritual enlightenment. That's quite a leap.
It's like he's saying, hey, once we hit rock bottom financially, we'll finally be ready to evolve into these higher beings.
So what does this green era look like? Are we all going to be meditating in tree houses and living off the land?
Not exactly, but he does predict some pretty wild stuff. He's talking about people developing telepathic abilities, being able to move objects with their minds, and even like a blurring of the lines between the physical and spiritual realms.
Hold on, telepathy. Mind control. Are we talking about superpowers here?
Pretty much. He's basically saying that after all this chaos and upheaval, humanity is going to go through this rapid period of spiritual growth and develop these superhuman abilities.
Well, I guess if we're going to face a financial apocalypse and a complete societal collapse, we might as well have some superpowers to help us through it.
Right. It's like the silver lining to the whole doomsday scenario.
So we're going to be like a society of Professor X's running around reading each other's minds.
Maybe. Who knows?
No.
But it's definitely a trippy concept to wrap your head around. I mean, imagine a world where you could just, like, beam your thoughts and feelings directly into someone else's mind. No more misunderstandings, no more arguments, just pure, unadulterated communication.
That sounds both amazing and terrifying at the same time.
Right. Like, what happens to privacy in a world of telepathic beings? And could you imagine the potential for, like, mind control and manipulation? It's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Definitely, but let's not get too bogged down in the ethics of telepathy just yet. Biggs has a lot more to say about what this green era will entail.
Yeah, buckle up because it's about to get even wilder. We're talking extreme weather events, widespread blackouts, and even a weakening of the Earth's magnetic field, leading to, wait for it, a pole shift.
A pole shift, like the actual north and south poles flipping. Isn't that supposed to take, like, thousands of years?
Well, according to Biggs, it's going to happen a lot sooner than that, and it's not going to be pretty. He predicts all sorts of natural disasters, from earthquakes and volcanic eruptions to tsunamis and massive storms.
Okay, so we've got a financial collapse, a spiritual awakening, a pole shift, and now we're adding natural disasters to the mix. This is starting to sound like a full-blown apocalypse.
It's definitely intense,
Yeah.
but hold on, because we haven't gotten to the most mind-blowing prediction yet. Biggs also sees humanity making contact with extraterrestrial life.
Oh, aliens. Like close encounters of the third kind?
Well, not exactly. He describes them as beings that exist on a different plane of existence, different vibrational frequencies. Very spiritual, very enlightened aliens.
So not the little green men in flying saucers kind of aliens.
Nope, more like interdimensional beings who are here to guide us through this period of transformation.
Okay, now that is out there. I mean, alien contact is one thing, but interdimensional beings, that's a whole other level of weird.
It's definitely pushing the boundaries of what most people would consider normal. But hey, if we're already dealing with a financial apocalypse, a spiritual awakening, a pole shift, and natural disasters, what's a few interdimensional beings thrown into the mix?
Right. At this point, I'm kind of numb to the shock value.
I hear you. It's a lot to process, but I think it's important to remember that these are just one person's predictions, and there's no guarantee that any of this will actually come true.
Of course, but it's still fascinating to explore these ideas and think about the possibilities, however outlandish they may seem.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe Biggs is onto something. Maybe we are on the verge of a major planetary shift, both literally and figuratively.
Well, if that's the case, we'd better buckle up and get ready for the ride.
No kidding, because it sounds like it's going to be a wild one. Okay, so just to recap, we've got financial collapse, spiritual superpowers, aliens dropping by, and a whole lot of planetary chaos, courtesy of Mr. Biggs.
He really threw everything but the kitchen sink into his predictions.
Right. It's like he took every apocalyptic and utopian trope in the book and blended them into this wild cosmic smoothie.
And yet somehow it kind of works. There's this strange internal logic to it, even if it's all a bit out there.
I know what you mean. It's like he's created this whole new mythology for the 21st century, complete with its own set of challenges and opportunities.
And at the heart of it all is this idea of a new way of life that emerges from the ashes of the old.
Right, like a phoenix rising from the flames, but instead of a bird, it's like humanity 2.0, all shiny and evolved and maybe a little bit telepathic.
And what's interesting is that he doesn't just focus on these big, sweeping changes. He also gets into the nitty-gritty of how everyday life will be transformed.
Oh yeah, he talks about how education, healthcare, even social media will all be radically reimagined.
He envisions education becoming this highly personalized experience tailored to each individual's unique talents and interests.
So no more standardized tests or boring lectures.
Exactly. Instead, it's all about fostering creativity, critical thinking, and a lifelong love of learning.
That sounds pretty ideal. Though I can't help but think about all the kids who, actually kind of thrive in a structured environment.
Well, I guess in Big's world, there's room for all sorts of learning styles and preferences.
Fair enough. And what about healthcare? How does he see that changing?
He predicts a shift away from the traditional disease-focused model to a more holistic approach that emphasizes preventative care and overall well-being.
So less about treating symptoms and more about addressing the root causes of illness.
Exactly. And he sees a much greater emphasis on alternative therapies like acupuncture, herbal medicine, and even energy healing.
He even throws in the term quantum medicine, which sounds incredibly futuristic.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but it definitely suggests a move towards a more integrated approach that incorporates both cutting-edge technology and ancient wisdom.
Fascinating. But what about social media? Surely he doesn't think Facebook and Instagram will survive the apocalypse.
Well, he doesn't mention those platforms specifically, but he does predict that social media will evolve into something much more meaningful and less superficial.
So less about posting selfies and more about connecting with like-minded individuals and building communities?
Right. And he envisions a world where social media actually helps to bridge divides and foster understanding rather than amplifying polarization and conflict.
Okay, that's a social media platform I could actually get behind.
Me too. And when you think about it, some of these predictions aren't that far-fetched. I mean, we're already seeing trends towards personalized learning, holistic health care, and more conscious social media use.
It's true, maybe Biggs is just extrapolating from what's already happening and projecting it into the future.
It's possible, and whether or not his specific predictions come true, I think his overall message is a hopeful one.
Right, it's like he's saying, hey, things might get rough, but ultimately we're headed towards a brighter future, one where we're more connected, more evolved, and more in tune with ourselves and the planet.
It's a vision that's both inspiring and challenging, and it definitely gives us a lot to think about.
Absolutely, and on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of prophecy and predictions.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring these ideas with us.
And remember, whether you believe in these predictions or not, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the hopes, fears, and anxieties that are shaping our collective consciousness.
And who knows, maybe they'll even inspire you to create your own vision for the future.
So keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. We'll see you next time.